Welcome, everyone. My name is Gina Groen, Executive Director of the Northside North Shore Chamber of Commerce. For more than 125 years now, we have served the Northside business community. We have 380 members, and our mission is to promote, connect, and support those members and the entire Northside business community. A member of our team is always available to help you answer questions if you want to reach out and figure out, what that means for your business or organization, whether you are a current member or a prospective member. This event today is part of a special series of informational events called Business Builders. We hold those periodically as needed. And this particular series is 3 information sessions due to a generous sponsorship from the Neighborhood Community Development Fund. And you'll hear from them in just a minute. But this is the second of the series, the second session, focusing on ChatGPT in the workplace, or ChatGPT for small businesses. Last Thursday, we had a great panel discussion focused on working with Generation Z. And then next Thursday, on April 25th, we have a session on building a stronger team. So today's session will be recorded for later viewing, but next week's session on team dynamics will not be recorded. So don't register for that one with the intention of receiving and watching a recording. Make a plan, 2 p.m. next Thursday, building a stronger team, talking about strengths finders and team dynamics. So before we jump into the session, I'd like you to hear a few words from our sponsor, the Neighborhood Community Development Fund, like I said, and hear a little bit about their work in the community and how they can help you. So Danny McGlory from the fund is here to talk a little bit about what they do.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you again for having me. So as a loan officer with the Neighborhood Community Development Fund, I'm tasked with getting out into the community exclusive to the North Side. So I am dedicated to the North Side to help build community, help individuals, whether they're looking to start a business, grow their business, for all different sources of funding that they may have a need for their business. We're here to help. I'm happy to be a part of supporting the North Shore, North Side Chamber of Commerce, as well as some other community organizations throughout Allegheny County. So with us branching out into Allegheny County, we're able to touch more individuals, impact their lives, and continue to build that generational wealth and help build community. So I do appreciate this opportunity, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the fund, I mean, you guys do incredible work in the region, and I'm proud to have worked with you during my 6 years here at the Chamber and before when I was involved in a couple of different community groups. It's definitely an asset for the North Side and now the entire region. So thanks. So with that, I will introduce our speaker for today. Craig Turner is a man of many talents. I would say a true entrepreneur. Every time I see him, he's got some new idea that he's running with. So he has run a chamber of commerce. He currently consults with chambers, including the Northside Chamber. He works with businesses to maximize their chamber membership. And he is also the author of thrillers that are, get this, set in the world of local politics and chambers of commerce. Exciting, right? He started dipping his toes into ChatGPT in the past year or two and has dug in deep to really understand how this tool can be useful to small businesses. So Craig, I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Excellent. Can you make it so I can share?
I can. I was thinking about that as I was saying my notes here. There, you're all set.
Okay, excellent. So as Gina mentioned, in my bio, you heard the word Chamber of Commerce 100 times, and that's right on. Now, but I do want to say, my goal for today is not to make Gina and the Chamber team happy. All right. My goal is to make the Neighborhood Community Development Fund happy so that they leave here going, man, that was money well spent on that sponsorship. Okay. That's what we're going to do today. So as we were discussing before you came in, I'm actually you see Niagara Falls behind me. I'm out of Niagara Falls. I'm in Western New York right now, but I'm a fellow member of the Northside Chamber of Commerce. I've been working in the Pittsburgh market for about 5 years now. And interestingly enough, while I was doing that without any plans to make that happen, my son got accepted at Pitt. So I am there all the time now, both for my own work and to pick him up for breaks and things like that. So like I was saying, I will be there next week. I am going to throw a lot at you today. Okay. At the end, I'm going to provide everything I do on screen. I'm going to provide you. So I'd rather you watch than take notes. You don't really have to take notes. I will give you everything we do on screen. You'll get the video. I'll give you the slides, and I'll give you all the prompts we use. Um, the other day, I did one of these, and ChatGPT was kind of slow, and it slowed down my flow for the thing, and I ended up going over time. When we get to three o'clock, if you need to leave, go ahead, definitely. I'm gonna press on, and I'll stay and answer questions and everything. But I just don't want to. I don't want you to feel guilty if 3 o'clock comes and you have to leave, and I'm not quite done yet. So again, thank you, Gina and Quinn and Patrick for having me. I love this stuff, and I think I'm gonna open your eyes a little bit today. So why me? Why momentum? Gina mentioned that about 2 years ago we decided to really dive into it, and we did. And the interesting thing is, my plan was to use it for myself, for my company, but then I wanted to just stay enough ahead of you so I could learn this and then train you, and then I learn this and train you, and the chambers and small businesses. And what happened is I got way into it. Now I'm programming. I'm keynoting an AI conference in the fall in Binghamton. So I'm over the top into it now. I have on here, I'm saving 15 hours a month. It's probably closer to 20 hours a month now. I think that just you being here today, I'll be able to save you 3 to 5 hours a month. So you can start thinking about what you're going to do with that time. But we're using this every single day. And the other thing it's done, that third bullet point, it's enabled us to take ideas and make them real. I'm going to show you how to do that a little bit, but as Gina said, I'm an idea person. I constantly have ideas. It's so easy to just ask ChatGPT to help you get through these ideas and get them out of your head and get feedback. And I'll show you how to do that. The other thing that I do that is, kind of abnormal to a lot of trainings out there is everything you see today is going to be based specifically for small business. Sometimes people like to talk about the stuff you can do at home and things and like you're here to learn about small business. You can go play with it and learn about the stuff at home. We're going to talk about small business today. So first things first, the AI is not taking over the world. That's very important to know. Yet, I saw an interesting thing the other day. June 2nd is actually the 40th anniversary of the Terminator movie. And there is a scene in the Terminator movie where they talk about this is what the world is going to be like in 40 years. All right. So I'm going to do all kinds of programming around that because I think that's fantastic. But the reality is, and Gina said it at the beginning, a lot of people are scared of it. A lot of people are worried. A lot of people want to get into the ethics of it. A lot of people want to have the debate over AI. Problem is, it doesn't matter. It's here. Yes, the ethics stuff will be decided in Congress, and Elon Musk and everybody's talking about that at a high level. But the reality is, it's here, and it's a tremendous tool for you as small businesses to all those things I say: save time, save money, compete, do a better job, get more done on a daily basis. And so I'm glad you're here because you're taking a big leap forward here. And I think I still, yeah, tremendous resource for your Chamber of Commerce. I forgot to change that bullet point. So now I'm sure you're seeing that it's everywhere. AI is everywhere. Every time you open you open LinkedIn, it says, do you want AI to write this post for you? You open Adobe Acrobat, you open a PDF and it says, do you want an AI summary of this? When Gina signs off this session today, Zoom is going to give her an AI summary of this. It's everywhere. It's coming in. Some are better than others. The Zoom one I actually don't think is all that good at this point yet, but it'll get better. But when you're talking about creating art, music, videos, PowerPoints, all kinds of different things, data analytics. A great example that I like to give on this slide is Grammarly. How many of us use Grammarly, have used it for 10 years? That was AI all this time, just nobody thought about it. It wasn't the trend, it wasn't the fad. So all these things are happening all over the place. We're going to focus today on ChatGPT because that's the easiest entry level for anybody to be able to do. And I'll talk a little bit about some of the other ones that are out there, but focus on ChatGPT. OpenAI.com. OpenAI is the company that created ChatGPT. That's where you would sign up for an account, and you can sign up for a free account. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the difference between the paid and the free account, but you know, you can always just start with the free account and start playing around. So some principles I want to go over, and what I'm going to do, I'm talking here for about 20 minutes on this overview, and then we're going to get into real prompts, and I'm going to show you how those work. But it's important to understand this foundation. So April 2023 is an important date because that is the last time that ChatGPT took its knowledge from the internet. Okay, and the best way I can explain this is if I could say, who won the Super Bowl in February? All right, it will not know. It won't know because it stopped in April 2023. That being said, I could say, here is a link to NFL.com, who won the Super Bowl in February, and it would know. You can train everything as you go, but if you just ask generic questions, April 2023 is the last time it uploaded its knowledge. Now, Google's and Microsoft's, they're tied into the internet. You're going to get a little different experience. I'll talk about that in a minute. If you've ever done anything with tech, GIGO is an important phrase, garbage in, garbage out. Basically what that means, and this is where we start to dispel some of the fear that Gina was talking about. This is like any technology that's ever been made in history. So the cotton gin, the hammer, the better a job you do with the input, the better your output is going to be. And that's, you know, and that's where the human comes in, that it still becomes, a human is still an important part of this equation. And when you talk about AI replacing jobs or things like that, again, like any other technology, it's going to change jobs. It's not necessarily going to replace jobs, it's going to change them. But now, instead of needing someone to write a press release for you, now you need someone who can instruct the AI to write 100 press releases. So it becomes a different kind of animal. But like I said, as we talk about the fear of it and everything, it's like any other technology that's out there. Are there dangers to it? Sure, absolutely. Yeah, there's ethical, there's deep fakes, there's all these things. Yeah, that needs to get sorted out. And are there bad actors out there? Sure there are, but there's bad actors out there with the internet, and there's bad actors out there with Google and email and cell phones. And so it's a matter of you know, navigating that, but not getting caught up in it. When I say advantages over search engine, so I rarely use Google anymore. I do all my searching through ChatGPT, unless, like I said, unless it's something brand new, that like news. You can't get news on here. You can train it, but and the reason I do that, and this is preference, Google owns YouTube. When you search on Google, before you get to your answer, they give you 25 different videos that you could do. I can't sit through video and watch videos to get answers to questions I need. I need the answer right there. So I skip all that. This becomes my search engine for what I need, because you ask a question, it gives you an answer. I don't want to go to Reddit posts. I don't want to go to YouTube. I just want the answer. So that's preference. AI is not absolute. If you look down at the bottom underneath the message ChatGPT window, it says ChatGPT can make mistakes. Consider checking important information. Always do. One thing that's important to remember, and this is a mindset thing. When people talk about AI, I'm like, I'm talking to a computer. No, you're getting information from the internet. ChatGPT's knowledge is based on the internet, and unfortunately, there's a lot of incorrect information on the internet. So that's how it yields itself into ChatGPT. And same on the next bullet point, which is bias. A lot of people will talk about the bias of ChatGPT. It is, because the internet has some bias, and no matter what the topic you're on, there's going to be some level of bias on the internet that it's pulling from. The interesting thing, and I'll show you how this works, is I can change the bias myself. So I can ask a question, or I can ask a question and say, answer it from a liberal point of view, a conservative point of view, a skeptic's point of view, an agnostic's point of view, and it will answer it the way that you want it answered. Okay. And that's important. I'm going to show you how to do that. If you feel experiments, always, this is how you learn it. You just play. My first foray into this was a buddy of mine. Once we downloaded it, and we were picking embarrassing things from each other's lives and having ChatGPT write limericks about them. It was fun. It was ridiculous. We were all giddy sitting there 11 o'clock at night doing this, but we learned how it prompts. We learned how it reacts to things. We learned how to tailor those prompts. Experiment is the best way you're going to learn. When I do my course, I charge $30 for it because I'm doing it all over the country, and it's work to pull it all together. We got a guy here in Buffalo charging $299 for this course. And I'm like, oh my God, why would you pay that? Just open the thing up and play with it. That's how you're going to learn about it. You don't need to spend $300 to learn how to use this. So, if you feel guilty, ask yourself, what do I need to accomplish? This was the biggest hurdle for me. And when I came to this realization, it was a big help. So, and as Gina mentioned, I'm an author. So turning over any writing capabilities to AI was very, very difficult for me, very difficult. And then I started to say to myself, I'm like, okay, my clients hired me. And if you have a boss, your boss hired you for what? Because of your writing ability or to find solutions to grow the organization? And that was huge because now you think about this perspective. Okay, I have a task that I have to do that normally takes me an hour. All right. Now I can do it in 30 seconds. Right. I go back to my boss or I go back to my client and say, okay, this took me an hour. Now it takes me 30 seconds. So I have 59 and a half minutes to use better than sitting there writing a press release for you. That's a huge thing. And that was a big piece of it. So with my writing, I realize there's things I want to write. I want to write my books. I write my blogs. I write my own LinkedIn posts, press releases, white papers, Facebook and Twitter posts. I'm like, I don't want to spend a minute writing those things. So it's like, boom, put them in, and I have the ChatGPT write for them. I have clients that have asked me to do content. I'm like, are you okay if I do ChatGPT just to save that time? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. Because I'm sure Quinn knows a lot of those blogs and stuff that you put on your website, people don't read them, but the keywords are the important part. So there's a way to do it. So just think about what you were hired to accomplish. We talked about AI plus human equals results. January 2024, OpenAI created a team subscription level, which I think is fantastic. I haven't had a reason to use it, but basically a chamber or a small business that might have multiple people using it. Think about ChatGPT and this tool, but with Teams or Slack or one of those where I can type something, it comes up, and I need a colleague to weigh in on it. I could just slide it over to them within the portal. I think it's a neat tool. Again, I haven't had a reason to use it. February 24, ChatGPT or OpenAI announced Sora, which is video. They have still not released it. I'm excited. I want it. There are plenty of AI video services out there that you can use, but OpenAI, I think, to their credit, is being very, very careful about it, especially with the deep fakes and especially during an election year and all this. So I'm as much as I want to get my hands on it, I'm glad that they're doing what they're doing. So, and the reason why I raise those things, because there are different platforms out there. So Gemini is Google's AI. Copilot is Microsoft's AI. There's another one out there called Claude. Then there's video. Then there's all these different services out there. Most of them have a free version and then a subscription cost version. For the purpose of these, Gemini and Copilot, it's the same as ChatGPT. There's a free version and then there's a $20 a month version. Try them. That's all I'll say is try, if they interest you, try them, see what they do. I've tried them. I keep coming back to ChatGPT and it's working just fine for me. So Gina sees my stuff on LinkedIn, so she sees some of my comments. I know there's a debate, of course. It's like the old Blu-ray and high definition DVD. It's like what's going to be the one that goes. And there's a lot to it, but I've tried the other ones. I keep coming back to ChatGPT. The reason why I bring this up is because the competition is so fierce right now. There's a new feature coming out like every day. Every time you turn around, there's a new feature out. I've never seen any technology that's so responsive. Sometimes I'm typing something, I'm like, man, it would be nice if ChatGPT did this. And 2 days later, it does it, which is crazy. I'll show you. So I mentioned it was going very slowly the other day. So I said, what I've read is that if ChatGPT is going slowly, that means that they're making an update to something. I didn't know what an update was, but as soon as I got off, I searched, and right here, all right, they had added this dynamic, and that's a good segue. I'll tell you what that is. So the difference between the paid version and the free version, okay, like I said, $20 a month. I don't make a penny from telling people to get the paid version, but get the paid version. And I'm gonna tell you why. So access to ChatGPT 4 as opposed to ChatGPT 3.5. All right. And those keep advancing and advancing. So GPT 4 is 500 times smarter than 3.5. All right. Trillions and trillions of pieces of information. Now, when you're writing a press release, does that really matter? Not really. Or a LinkedIn post? Not really. But sometimes the intelligence ends up showing up in your ability to interact with it and do things. So I saw, because I was doing coding, and ChatGPT, the paid version, ChatGPT 4, you are allowed 40 posts in 3 hours. Okay. If you hit that, it switches over right here to ChatGPT 3.5. All right. So you lose some of the capabilities. I was working on a thread and I asking question after question after question, and I didn't realize that it switched over. So I was doing coding and I'm like, there's like one thing wrong with this piece of code. And then I noticed it was on 3.5. So I copied it and I put it in 4 and it got the answer like that after I spent like a half hour trying to figure it out. So there are examples where you can see the intelligence. Now, everything I just said about that, 4 versus 3, this is what just Tuesday they did this. So dynamic. So now what happens is, because you only get 40 every 3 hours with ChatGPT 4, when you type an entry in, ChatGPT will now decide which one's better for you. So if you're write me a paragraph on something that doesn't require advanced technology, it'll use 3.5 and you won't use your allotment. So I thought it was pretty funny. I had to email everybody. I said, that's what I said. It was rolling out while we were doing our session. So now back to this, the paid version, Chat, you can train the AI on you. And I cannot understate the importance of this. Okay. In this window in front of you, I can train this window, this thread, this chat with anything I want. I can put all kinds of details and train it. I'll show you how to do some of this. But if I close this window and I go into another window, it has no idea what happened in the first window. Okay. Which is a data security measure that they have. Now, in the paid version, I can train the whole thing. So if I go right here on my name, and I go to customize ChatGPT. Okay, now it is trained on me and my company and all the things that I wanted to know, that it can help give me a better answer every single time that I answer something. So you'll see as we're going here, it'll call me by name. It'll say, Craig, since you work with chambers of commerce, you'll see that kind of happen, and you can fine tune that so that it does exactly what you want. Again, you can do it manually in the free version, but you'd have to do it every single time you open a chat. Additionally, you can train the AI to perform tasks in the way you want them to perform. So the voice, the style, the length, the mood, all the different things. One thing that ChatGPT does is it explains a lot. Write me a LinkedIn post. Well, I'm writing this LinkedIn post like this because of X, Y, and Z. Here's the LinkedIn post. A lot of people don't like that, so they'll say, write me the LinkedIn post with no explanation, which is funny. You can in the paid version, ChatGPT 4, you can create images. I'm going to show you how to do some of those. That's a huge thing. And then in April, just earlier this month, they made it so you can edit images, which is fantastic. If you follow me on LinkedIn, which I encourage you to do, some of the recent images that I've done are edited, and they are ending up exactly the way I want them to be. And I'll talk about the importance of that. You can train GPTs. I'll show you one of them, but a GPT is a bot basically that if you have the same task you do over and over and over again, you can train something to do it, and then all you have to do is plug your input in just like a machine, which is great. And then I'll show you the GPT store too that they started. Where I make a bot that is really useful to me, I can share it with the world in case other people might find it useful too. And I don't make a dollar with it. They've found a way to get us to all work for them without paying us anything. So you can chat and get responses via voice, which is huge, and that's my biggest. I think that in itself for me is the value of the $20 a month. And then you can upload images and documents, and I'm gonna show you something like that too. So I want to get into prompts, but I'm going to show you the voice real fast. Let me just make sure that my volume is up here. We're kicking off our ChatGPT for small business training for the North Side North Shore Chamber of Commerce in Pittsburgh. Can you give everybody a quick greeting and maybe some kind words of comfort to let them know that AI is not going to take over the world?
Hello, Northside North Shore Chamber of Commerce in Pittsburgh. It's great to be a part of your journey into the world of AI with ChatGPT. As you embark on this exciting training, remember that AI is here to assist and empower your businesses, not replace the unique and invaluable human touch you all bring to your work. Think of ChatGPT as a tool that enhances your capabilities, helps solve problems, and opens up new opportunities for growth and innovation. Let's dive into this adventure together, learning how AI can support your community and help your businesses thrive. Welcome aboard, and let's make this a productive and enlightening experience for everyone.
How's that, huh? So I mentioned I'm back and forth to Pittsburgh all the time. If nobody's in the car with me, pretty much those 3 hours I'm talking to ChatGPT. So let's get into the prompts. And like I said, you don't have to take notes because I'll give you all this at the end. But I want to talk first about prompt specificity, okay? When I go back to talking about garbage in, garbage out, and the better the prompt is, the better you're going to get. I want to show you just an example of how that works. So my first prompt is give me some networking tips, all right? And it's interesting on a lot of people, some of what Gina said about the mood towards AI shows up on LinkedIn. And I see people post and go, ChatGPT can't write, you know, they don't do they don't do a good job. You can always tell it's ChatGPT. And the funny thing is, if you know this, all those people, and then they're trying to sell you AI training. The funny thing is, anybody that's saying ChatGPT can't write, all they're doing is outing themselves that they don't know how to prompt. Because I can make this look pretty much like my own writing, and which is scary. But so give me some networking tips. So here's 10 networking tips that are probably pretty well done. And Quinn, if you want to steal them for a blog, you're certainly welcome to do that. But I want to take it to the next level and just show you how this works as you get more specific. So now we're going to say, give me 3 networking tips specifically for tonight's event. So a couple of things here. I narrowed it down to 3, and I wanted to talk about tonight's event. Now it's getting a little more detailed and a little more surgical as far as the the answer it's going to give me. And I don't have any wood to knock on, but it's going a lot faster than it did the other day, so that's good. All right. Now we're going to go pro tip here. And this, you can, when you do a prompt, you can say anything you want in this prompt. So nobody's going to judge you for what you say or anything. You just tell it how you want it. Tonight, I have the opportunity to attend the April After 5 mixer with the chamber. There are 2 people in particular I want to connect with, the guy from the bank and the guy from the guy from the accounting firm. Both are difficult to get at popular events or in popular. Lay me out a strategy covering before, during, and after the event as to the best way to connect with them. For during the event, give me best practices on how I should approach them, what I should say, and how I should close the conversation. Okay, you see how much detail I put into that. The result is going to be a very detailed and usable response here. And again, another one of the data privacy features of ChatGPT is if you went and typed in that same exact prompt I just did, or if I did it again, it would give you a different answer. Might be the same themes, but it's different language, different. So see now, oh, I don't go too far here. Wait, there we go. I was in the wrong window. So now, see, now we've got an action plan that ChatGPT created for us that we can actually figure out. So, and my next slide is conversation style and refining. I can go back and say, so say I like schedule meeting, this thing here that's still on the screen here. After the event scheduled meeting, I could go, give me some approaches for doing that. I don't need to go back and restate the question. I could say, just give me some approaches for scheduling that meeting, and you can reference. And what's one of the things that's really nice about this is I mentioned I was doing coding. So my chat with for the coding, if I printed it, it's probably about 180 pages at this point now. All right. If I need to reference something that happened way at the top, all I do is reference it. I don't need to go find it. I don't need to search for it. I could say, hey, way back in the beginning, we were talking about this. I would like to dig into that a little bit more. That is absolutely huge, absolutely huge. I'll show you this too as you, so I'm keeping this closed just for room on the screen. But if you use this little arrow here, it saves all of your chats. Okay. And you can turn that off if you want to. There's a, if you're worried about data security, you can turn that off. I like it on, but the one thing I'll say is I want you to go back to when you first started using Windows. Name these things well, because if something gets lost way down in the, but you'll never find it again. Try and make sure that you're putting tags on them so that you can actually, oh, that's where we were talking about this, and you can go back and find it. Because I've spent a significant amount of time trying to find things that were good ideas before the thing. So, prompt conversation style and refining. This is one of my favorite prompts for busy people. And Gina, you sat through some of this, but I think most of these prompts are going to be a little bit different than what you said, what you were in. So, can you draft a response to this email? In truth, I don't think John and Mary are ever going to sign on as a client. They've strung this out for a year already, and I think Mary's just being polite. But I'd like to send a nice, courteous note. Plus, I see Mary at the coffee shop, so it could be friendlier than I would make a regular note. So what we're doing is basically Mary sent us this email. Dear Cheryl, hope you're well. My apologies for the delay. I spoke with John and we're too busy. It's not going to happen, but can you call me back in June? Okay. Now, the reason I like this prompt is I cut and pasted Mary's email in. I said, here's what I want to say. The reason I like this is because we are all professionals and we run into instances all the time where we have to answer somebody's email in a professional way and give an answer that we don't really like, but protect the relationship at the same time. All right. Which we're all good at doing. You wouldn't be in business if you weren't good at doing that. The thing is, an email like this, you'll probably sit there for 20 minutes trying to figure out the exact right words to send back to Mary so that Mary doesn't get upset. And there's still a chance she might sign with you and everything. ChatGPT just does it for you. So dear, here's a quick email Mary wrote to. We don't have to think about it. Obviously, edit it, but we made it personal. Here's always pleasure seeing you at the coffee shop. All right, so I like that one for busy people. The other one I really like using this for is if somebody solicits you for a contribution to something and you can't do it, all right, but you want to maintain the relationship. You're going to sit there for 45 minutes trying to figure out how to write this email. Just do it. But this slide here is called conversation and style and refining. So we're going to refine this, all right? And I don't have to restate the question. It's a little long. Can you shorten? And as far as me asking a question, you don't have to. You could say it's a little long, shorten it. You don't have to be nice. You'll find your own style in talking to ChatGPT. And I forgot. Mary only speaks. All right. So now it'll just redo it the way I needed it to be done. So we got a little shorter email. It's in French. I don't understand. I don't know French. So if anybody does, they could tell me if that's actually a good translation. What I've heard is that it's a very good translation. So, but it's, so you can just refine that. And the cool thing about refining is, again, there's no emotion here. Nobody. So I think about so if Quinn writes something for Gina, all right, and Gina doesn't like a couple of the words, all right, she doesn't like how something's phrased. What are the choices? All right, one, keep going back to Quinn until it's right, which is going to make Quinn angry after a while. Just change it yourself and send it, which Quinn's going to see and go, why did she change that? Or just send it the way you don't really want it. So and again, I'm using them as an example. I'm not saying that's the relationship, but I've written for people for many years and I've had people write for me. And so you've got this relationship here. It's like, I don't like that word. Do it again. I don't like that word. Do it again. I don't like, get it. You can make it until it's absolutely exactly what you want it to be, which is nice. So let me say too, if you have a question, just go ahead and stop me. Just put it in chat, or I think I can see. No, I can't see everybody. Yeah, so put it in chat if you would, if you have a question, and we'll just talk about it right while we are. So I've been saying on LinkedIn that I've taken my basic ChatGPT learning and added one pro advanced tip in it. This is it. And the reason is I want you to know this immediately without having to learn it down the road. act like, all right? Act like is a huge tool, is a tremendous tool for ChatGPT. And basically what the sense is, sorry, I closed my window, but I like seeing faces. So the basically what it is ChatGPT has, I said, has trillions of pieces of knowledge. All right. So it has this many pieces of knowledge. When I ask it a question, even if it's write me a LinkedIn post, I don't need trillions of pieces of knowledge. I need this little piece of knowledge. So what you act like does is help you to fine tune your answer fine tune your response before you even get to the question. And I'll show you how this works. All right. And again, I'll keep it in the small business tone here. So, and what I'm going to prompt is, I say act like, you don't have to say, you can say act like, you don't need to. You are an expert interior designer and owner of a company that sells furniture, skilled in creating effective office environments for productivity and culture. Okay, I'm not asking regular ChatGPT to ask this question. I am asking an expert interior designer to answer this question. Write a 400-word blog on the pros and cons of working in office versus working virtually from home. Because we own an office furniture store, lean heavily into working in office. And now, rather than just a general look at this, it's going to answer it as though it's going to pull from that part of its knowledge. Okay. So you are a finance expert, you are a marketing expert, you are a legal expert, you are an accountant, and you can do these things to fine tune your responses. All right. So if you have any office furniture companies in the membership, this is a publishable blog. You can cut and paste this and put it in. But now I'm going to show you, I can change it. We have our office furniture place, our office furniture expert, but now I want you to act like a social media expert with proven experience in helping small businesses break through the noise on various platforms to reach their ideal customers and grow. This is my phrasing. You can phrase it any way you want. You could even just say act like a social media expert and it will do it. I wanted it to be specific to this. Write one post each for LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter announcing the posting of that blog that we just did. Please include relevant hashtags and suggest optimal posting times if appropriate. All right. It does this sometimes. It puts it in this format. It's an interesting thing. It's got a mind of its own. It actually talked back to me yesterday. I've never had it. I did an image. I edited the image with some new text, and it said I already did that. And I'm like, no, you didn't. It was pretty funny. I should pull it up and show you. It was like yeah, I just did that a second ago. I'm like, no, you did not. You did not do what I said. So which kind of blew my mind. But so now you've got your LinkedIn put, look, it's giving us the times and everything. It tells us exactly when to do it. What I like about this, and again, you guys, Quinn does a great job on social media for the chamber there, just as an example. What I like about this is I do social media incessantly all the time, but this knows about hashtags and it knows about SEO and it knows about better than I do. So I like it. Is this going to be the final post? Maybe not. I mean, and sometimes it comes up with kooky stuff. I did this for our chamber in Niagara Falls. We did it was like the new place was opening. It was like they turned an old hockey rink into roller skating or something. And we did I did LinkedIn posts and the one of them was like, join us on Thursday night for a bump and grind. And we're like, whoa, wait a minute, man, where'd you come up with that? So we had to edit it a little bit. So, but this is a huge tool. I wouldn't say you need to delve into this right away, but I rarely type a prompt anymore without saying act like a marketing expert, act like a legal expert, and it will tell you if you say act like a legal expert, it'll say just remember I'm not a lawyer. I'm just pulling information from the internet, which is important. Again, you have to check everything it gives you. So Dolly is OpenAI's image generation thing, and the reason I have this slide here, I'm gonna do a couple images towards the end. The reason I have this slide here is you'll see I have the Ghostbuster sign over stock photos. All right, I hate stock photos. I will never use a stock photo again. And the reason is because my experience with stock photos is searching through a massive database for 45 minutes to find a photo that is kind of okay for the prompt or the blog or whatever I'm doing. With this, I can get it exactly. I can get exactly the storytelling I need through the image to go with the post or whatever I'm doing. So this image that I have right here, one of my clients is a U.S. customs broker, so he does import, and I asked for this prompt, and this is my favorite one I've ever done, and I'll tell you why. The prompt is right there. You can read it, but I'm not a union expert. I've worked with unions for many years, but I'm not an expert. But my guess is in the stevedores union at the port of New York and New Jersey, when the guy goes up in the crane and is loading cargo onto and off of freighters, he's not taking pictures out the window. I don't care how nice the sunset is. He's not being paid to take pictures. So I'm going to guess that this image that I have does not exist anywhere on the planet, but it's the one I needed for the story, for the blog that I was posting. That's what I love about it. You can design anything you want. This is you play with it. The image generations are a little bit different than the regular prompts. The regular prompts have some forgiveness. The image generation, if you put a wrong word in, it'll show up in the in the picture. Gina's heard some of my stories on this. I was doing a thing once for my brother and sister when they were little. My mom used to shop them out to every talent show in town, so I was trying to make fun of them a little bit, make a picture of them on the stage in the talent show, all dressed up, singing a duet. And it just wasn't right. It wasn't right. So I kept editing, and all of a sudden, my daughter and I are sitting there, and I'm like, "Do you see what I say?" And she goes, "Yeah, there's a monster in the crowd." I'm like, "We're like a Muppet monster." I'm like, "Where did that come from?" And I typed, I'm like, "Where'd the monster come from?" And it was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put a monster in there." And then it did it again, and it had 5 monsters in it. So like they grew. There was more monsters every time we did it. We're like, I have no idea where that came from. But so I'll do an image later so you can kind of see how that works. GPTs, I said, are bots. I've created a bunch of them. If you go back to the menu here, right here, it says Explore GPTs. Okay, if you click on this. And again, this is a feature of the paid version. You won't be able to access this unless you have the paid version. So this is the GPT store. And basically what that is anybody who creates a GPT that they think is valuable, they can put it in the store. You don't get paid for it. It's just which is interesting. Again, they're using our content to do it. But only challenge with this is there are millions of these things. And like people who put their own music on Spotify, some of it's not good. So some of it's really helpful, but some of it's good. If any of you have kids, one of the ones that I really like and I use is right on the front page here. This one, it's called Coloring Book Hero. So if your kids have a certain thing that they like, I did one for my daughter that I said, I want a princess and a fairy and a castle in the same picture. Instead of doing an image generation, it does you a full page coloring page, and it's actually kind of cool. So but there's a lot on here, and maybe you'll find something. I don't find a lot that works for me, but I have created a bunch of my own, and so these and they all have a specific purpose. I do a lot for chambers, but the one I'm going to show you today is well, I'll show you 2. So this one down here, Impulse Guide right here, Impulse Guide Assistant. Impulse Guide is a client of mine, and I have this set up, and it's all trained on their company. It's trained on their growth plans, their products, and everything. So when I have to do work for them, I don't go through regular ChatGPT. I go through here because it knows everything. I don't have to re-educate the AI on all that. It's a great value, actually. The one I'm going to show you here is this networking follow-up connector. All right. So what this does is I'm not going to do the Midsummer Mingle one. That's more for the chamber people. So what this does is the hardest part of networking at an event is following up afterwards. All right. I'm a really good follow-upper, but I run out of time too. So I created this GPT here, so I can put a spreadsheet in, but this is a little bit easier. Here's the person I met. Here's the name of their company, and here's a quick thing that we talked about. All right, and I've got 10 of these in here. So now when I hit enter here, it's going to ask me for my name. Yep. All right, and what it's going to do is it's going to write me a personalized thing that I can cut and paste into LinkedIn every time I make a connection with any of these folks. All right. Instead of sitting there trying to write each one separately, I got, and it's personalized based on what we talked about. It's the right number of characters for LinkedIn. So here, just, that would have taken me 45 minutes to go through all those. Now I got these, I just cut and paste them in and hit connect. So that's the kind of thing. Here's something that I have to do after every single networking event I go to. Now I just cut all that time out of my schedule. So this one is available on I'll put, when I give you the prompts at the end, I'll give you the link to this. You could try it. But it is available on the store. So I'm going to go back to my original. Actually, let's go back to the main one. There we go. So I already showed you the voice feature. This is a picture of me on the highway on Route 79, driving down to Pittsburgh, but still getting work done. But like I said, I typically will spend a lot of that trip going back and forth. So normally what it used to be staring out the window, listening to music. Now I'm doing strategic plans. I'm writing content. I'm doing social media posts. My favorite, I said in my very first slide about the taking ideas off the napkin. My favorite prompt is, hey, I have this idea. What do you think? And I'll detail the idea. It gives me its impression of the idea. If I like where it's going, I'll say, okay, give me a 3-month plan to make that a reality. And then you know what? I save it. And then when I get back to it, I actually have some thinking going. It's unbelievable. It's so valuable because today's a great example. This is my 5th straight meeting today out of 6. I still have another meeting. I have not had 1 minute of desk time today. On my way to the meeting, which is about a half hour away, I will be getting my desk time in by using the voice feature. So, again, for me, that in itself is worth the $20 a month. So now what I did was I created a few real world, and it's 252. I just want to keep it. I'm going to keep going because for the recording and for the notes, I want to make sure I finish everything. So, but I will go through these. These actually don't take too long for you to get the gist of what I'm trying to do. So the first one I want to do, I'm trying to go real world small business. So our cybersecurity firm is planning to start a new podcast aimed at professional services clients. Problem is, we've never done that. We want to launch, but we don't want to look like we're launching a podcast. We want it to look like we've had a podcast for a long time. We have a couple of things going for us in that one of our folks is actually very good. They used to work for Channel 2 at this kind of content. And our name is well known. So here's exactly what I was just talking about. Can you draw up a 6-month launch plan for us, including pre and post launch with actionable steps on both the technical side and the content side? This is how I start off most of my ideas. I will admit to you that we are running in November for our chamber here in Niagara. We are running a small business expo, our first ever big all-day event. The entire thing was built like this on ChatGPT. And then I just plugged in real life speakers into what we're trying to accomplish here. So, but you'll see, and again, I didn't ask it to be a podcast expert or anything. I asked it the main thing, but here's a 6-month plan that we could plug in and start to follow. And I could say, look, in month 5, you talked about this. Let's dig into that a little bit more, and it'll give you, or lay out action steps. Or for one of my clients, we just did a strategic plan. I plugged the whole strategic plan in. I said, give me the next 3 weeks of activity that we need to accomplish, and then took that to the meeting. It was fantastic. So that's a good one. I like that one. You guys were talking about Gen Z before. This is probably my second favorite Dolly image that I've come up with. I think it hits the nail right on the head, especially when you see the prompt. All right, I wanted to show you how you can do a link. Can you analyze this new policy for us? We're having a hard time discerning if this policy affects our drivers. We have 4 full-time drivers, but during the holidays we hire more. Can you summarize the new policy for us, and if possible, determine if we're affected? If not, this is my favorite part. Suggest questions we need to be asking our HR team. All right, here's the link. This is a real policy. This is a policy that the Biden administration put in January that changed the relationship between employee and contractor for companies that have fleets. And it is confusing. It's not. So it read the article from Reuters. The one caveat is you can't give it a link that has a paywall. All right. So it can't read New York Times. It can't read LinkedIn. It can't anything you have to sign in. It can't read. Reuters happens to be free. So So here we go. So it's breaking it down for us. Here's the breakdown on what we should be looking at. And this, again, this is my favorite part. Questions for your HR team might include. The reason why I really like that is because I'm not a fan of giving, and I hope nobody, is anybody on here an attorney, Gina? No, okay. I'm not a fan of giving attorneys money. So I like to have as much homework done as I possibly can. This is invaluable for that. Here's my challenge. I'm going to meet with my attorney tomorrow. Can you give me the 10 questions I need to ask so I'm not searching while I'm paying $350 an hour? All right. I think that's invaluable. So this again, break it down. There's what I need to accomplish. This one is a fun one. I kind of use this one for the chambers and for small businesses too. And then I just got to, okay, I'm going to show, this is going to be how to use a file. Again, it's a feature of the paid version. Okay. So all I did it fast, but all I did was drag a file over here, just like you would in Windows. We have a new toy idea that we'd like to bring to market. Our Chamber of Commerce gave us a list of contract manufacturers in the area, and we need to narrow down the list. Attach it to the list of 10 contract manufacturers. Which 3 are the best fit? So this list of contract manufacturers, which hopefully it'll go ahead and analyze, this list of contract manufacturers is completely made up. Several months ago, I said, ChatGPT, make me a list of contract manufacturers in Louisville. Sometimes it does this. Sometimes it can't read it on the first time through. We'll see if it actually. Yeah, here we go. So I had done, the name of the company, the location, specialties, revenue, employees, capabilities, all the different things. So now it listed the 10. It pulled the 10 from the Excel spreadsheet. Now with these, here we go. See, with these criteria, it recommended 3 of them to us. So, and this one's interesting. The reason I'm hesitating as I talk is the format's different than sometimes it is. Sometimes it lists out a whole criteria and everything. This one, it just gave us 3 names. I could dig in. There, watch this. Why Mega Mole? All right, analysis is a very big thing. If you have a page with data, if you have a long PDF, you can put these things in and it will analyze for you. It's great for me. I ran public policy at the chamber for 8 years. I hate reading legislation. It drove me crazy. I would have done so well with this because I would have just plugged the legislation in and had my answer. So, but I really like that application of it because it does the Excel spreadsheet, but it also does the analysis piece. This is a fun one too. All right. I especially like the image on this one too. I've just been asked to do a presentation on the rollout of our new app tomorrow. The app is still about 6 weeks away, but one of our funders is coming in from Atlanta, surprise visit. Our CEO wants me to provide an update. It's a great day. You know, I should put an eye roll in there. I have 2 meetings and then my daughter's orchestra concert is this evening. Some people say, why do you write all that stuff? And I'm like, well, because it's context, it's urgency, and it kind of changes the way that it's going to read. I'm in a crunch. Can you put together 5 slides for me focused on the following points? Here's the points that we want to get out. For each of the slides, can you also add talking points relative to the slide and recommend an image that I can use to pretty it up? This one comes out with a different format every time I do it. Let's see. Talking points. Sometimes it designs the images. Sometimes it just tells me what to do. The one time I was doing the sales and marketing group here in Buffalo and I did this and I said, it's not going to do a PowerPoint. It's going to give you all the slides that you can cut and paste. And while those words were coming out of my mouth, and it created the PowerPoint. So good luck. So okay, so it didn't give us any visual. I could go on and ask for some stuff back. I could ask for it to actually create the PowerPoint. It won't do it with graphics and everything. It'll just give you a slide with the words on it. For now, it's going to get better. All right, and this is my last prep, and then I'll do some images, and then we'll kind of wrap up. But this one, if there's one that's going to blow your mind, this is going to be it. And I like blowing your mind, so we're gonna have fun. I have a meeting this afternoon with Bob Smith, who runs Smith Auto Dealers here in Amherst, New York. Bob has a reputation of not being the easiest guy to get along with. He's short-tempered. He gets stuck on wild conspiracy theories. He doesn't trust the government. Bob is on the brink of closing this deal with us, and I do believe that if we can get through this conversation, he will buy because our digital marketing services will work for him. He used to use the phone book, but when the phone book went away, he was having trouble getting people to his lot. I have 15 minutes with him, and I need to stay on target. Can you role play as Bob Smith for me? All right. So I've given it the personality for Bob. What do you say? I used to just put it in the phone book, and why do I even need this social media thing? Well, the come along way. Phone book, Bob. Now, I'm not going to go deep into this because we could sit here forever, but I did it once and it raised objection after objection and it would not let me get past until I hit where they wanted me to go. So how does that exactly work? People these days, I don't know if I trust them finding me online. It's not just a bunch of government folks tracking what I'm doing. Yeah. So, um, no, it's not. All right, so he'll keep going on, and I think you get the gist of it. But think about the personality perspective, and think about the things you can do with that. I mean, one of your employees posts something stupid on Facebook, and you have to go talk to them. Well, tough conversation. Sketch it out first. Your neighbor's tree is growing over your fence, and the last thing you want to do is go talk to them, but you have to sketch out the conversation. It's pretty fantastic, and it'll inform you as you go. It is 3:02. Just letting you know. So there's a couple of images I wanted to do for you, just to show you that the prompting is a little bit different. I'm going to do this insurance company one. Let's see. And again, I did really detailed prompts here. You don't have to make me a picture of an office with a desk and somebody sitting at the desk working hard. Designing. I did this very detailed because I wanted you to see how detailed I can get. An image for a medium-sized insurance company highlights the concept of protection and peace of mind. I want a family standing under a transparent umbrella that is large enough to cover them in their house. Here's what it's supposed to symbolize. Here's the setting. You can add all. Here, the image should evoke feelings of security, warmth, and family well-being. Again, if I put a simple prompt, it'll give me something usable. But the more you add, the better it's going to do. Let's just make sure it doesn't pick up on any weird keywords. And images, sometimes you have to try out more than once. All right, that's pretty much what we said. I don't know what the anchors are falling from this guy. It doesn't feel very safe, but I'll show you this. This is cool. This is what they added earlier this month. So I'm going to click on it. And this thing right now I can edit. Okay, so I could add more prompt or I could say change this, change that. But this is what they added this month, which is really cool. All right. So I'm going to shield out the anchors. And I'm just going to say, oh, anchors falling from the sky. I really like this feature. And Gene, did you see the Pittsburgh phone I did the other day? I did. I asked for a cell phone with a call coming in from Pittsburgh, and it had all this extra stuff in here. So I just went and erased, and it came out absolutely perfect at the end. I loved it. Get rid of the anchors. There we go. They're gone. Anchors are gone. got the life preserver though, and then the invisible umbrella. So my Darth Vader picture I use for all my small business things because I love that one. I use that during Small Business Week and everything. Dolly will tell you they can't use licensed materials, especially from Disney. Some of the other platforms will. I don't know how they get by it, but they will. So avoid anchors falling from the sky. So that is the, I have this on here again. It's 3:05. I want to be respectful of your time and let you go if you need to. Hopefully you're inspired. Hopefully you feel like you want to dive in and play with this and see what you can do. I'm happy to take any questions. This is my LinkedIn right here if you want to scan that. My LinkedIn is typically 50% Chamber of Commerce stuff, 50% AI stuff. Though Gina doesn't know this, but that's going to change a little bit because I just got hired by the contract client by the World Trade Centers Association in New York, so to do some work with them. So you're going to see some more international trade stuff start to pop up in my field a little more. But there's a lot of ChatGPT tips in there, and I try to keep on a regular basis giving stuff out. So that all being said, Gina, that is the end of the presentation. Again, I'm happy to stick around for a little bit and answer questions or whatever anyone needs.
Okay. I mean, I thought this was great. I hope that it's been helpful to the rest of you. I'm going to stop the recording now, and then we'll stick around, in case anybody does have questions. But just a reminder that I'll send this presentation and the recording out tomorrow for rewatching or sharing. And I know Craig will send to me the prompts that we went over. So
it'd probably be early next week, but yeah, I'll get them through as soon as I can.
Okay.
Just have ChatGPT do it. Come on, Craig.
Well, it's already done. The problem is, you saw I moved into like 3 different windows, so there's stuff all over the place. I gotta curate everything for you.
True. All right. So thanks, everyone.
There is something in chat. Is that a question?